Hi there, good afternoon everybody. Welcome to the Talk and Exports webinar series. Today, as you know, we are here to present to you fashion for business, and how to actually build your community online. Now, for those of you that may not be overly familiar with Caribbean Export, I'd just like to run through a few things as it relates to who we are, Caribbean Export Development Agency. Oops, am I showing my screen? Yeah. Okay, so Caribbean Export, we are a regional development agency based here in Barbados. We also have an office in the Dominican Republic and also in Haiti. We work with you know, a number of different organizations implementing a range of programs. And the main program that we're implementing at the moment is the 11th EDF Regional Private Sector Development Program, which is funded by the European Union. Now, we work across a number of different sectors, and obviously, as we're all here today, fashion is a key sector for us as part of the creative industries as a whole. In an effort to support the fashion industry, we developed an online platform called the Caribbean Fashion Showroom, which is where we showcase fashion designers from across the region. So if you haven't already followed the Caribbean Fashion Showroom social media pages, please do so using the relevant handle below. Now, today, as you know, we are here to talk about fashion. We're welcome to have Tamia Carey from Stush Marketing, and Jodie Kay as well. A great double act, I believe. They're going to be talking to us about how to build loyal customers on and offline. And we'll be kicking that off in just a few minutes. And next week, actually, and next week, Tuesday, also part of the series, we are going to be welcoming Aine Earl from Fashion Arch in Trinidad and Tobago. And we're also going to be talking about how to sell products online and selling on social. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Tamia, and she will lead us through how to build our community, your fashion community online, and how to ensure that those customers keep coming back to you time and time again. So just bear with me whilst I hand over presenter to Tamia. Here we go.
One moment. Is it opening? Oh, it's open. Open? Yeah. Full screen. Thank you very much, Joe. So my name is Tamia Carey. I'm actually a fashion designer from Jamaica. And I also own marketing, which is one of the content creation brands in Jamaica. So this has definitely helped me on my journey because I have photographers and videographers and graphic artists on staff, but there are all these free ways and cheap ways that you can do it without all this help. Content is key. So in life, you really want to have that 360 look. So you want to make sure that you do photography, you do videos, you want to over communicate. So you want to try and get everything for your brand together and just keep pushing it out so that you're able to create a brand voice. Because normally sometimes you don't create a brand voice right away. It takes a little time. But what's good is to look on what you posted, what you put out, what gave you the most sales, what gave you the most interaction, and then you make that checklist. When we talk about content creation, it could be something as simple as putting your stuff down and doing a flat lay, but it could also be that you do a photo shoot. It could be that you just back out your phone. Maybe each day you make that. As a fashion designer, I try and wear my clothing every day, and not every day I get the photo, but I try to get the photo at least 3 times a week so I have extra content, because especially during COVID and other times when you're not having those set photo shoot dates. You don't want to be without content, you know. There are also these great apps like Canva that you can use to make all of these graphics at your own leisure and time. I try and use about 3 hours a week to make graphics for my brand personally. Using Canva, of course, because it's like graphics for dummies, because I'm not a tech person at all. And I use the photographs that I took during the week before, or even just I put my accessories on the table or drop them on the sand at the beach, and I take a photograph. I get a leaf, drop my stuff on top of it, or hang up my stuff in the doorway. The reality is you live in such a beautiful climate that everybody always craves Caribbean content, authentic content. And you guys have an oyster in that you can just step outside and hang it in a tree, basically. So content creation, this is one of the videos done for us here in Jamaica. Yeah.
Can you talk us through the video?
Sure. Well, this is the behind the scenes. Let me just make it stop. So in that photo shoot, it was when we decided that really what our brand was, what the Tamia Care brand was, which one, it was very resort style. Two, we wanted to show the element. Everything I sell that sells well after a few years of trial and error is flowy. I really don't do well in a tight or fitted garment. It just doesn't sell at my store. So in that video, we're just trying to encapsulate what we had now, many years later, figured out what the brand is. Because we had sown much things that we liked that nobody liked, much things that were possibly ugly and nobody liked. So that encapsulated the fact of resort, seaside, flowy clothes, bold colors, prints. And that's basically what our brand is. So when we started Stush Marketing, let me change over to my Stush hat. Myself and my business partner, very bad greasy picture, but anyway, that was our first job that we got in 2010, and all we had was that camera, that light, that laptop. Now, at that point, cell phones weren't where they are at now. Apps weren't built out how they are now. And that's all we had to start our brand. And we were able to build with it over the years to create this lifestyle and to create what we have now. So we've come a far way, and I'm telling the other designers that you don't need these enormous budgets. You just need to be committed. You need to say, okay, I'm going to spend X amount of time each week and create my content, and then I'm going to communicate my content. Your brand voice, you may know parts of it today, but in a few years, when you realize what your true calling is, it may be different things. I'm 10 years in, so it has taken me possibly 6 years to figure that out. I have the backing of a beautiful photographer. She's to the far left, Fernelise, who does all of my branding. To my right, sorry, Fernelise. She does all of my branding, and she has helped me to create my brand voice over the years and really been very impactful on my brand. So today we're going to look on how to build your community on and offline. The great thing about COVID is that it has caused all of us to now be very digitally aware. I keep mentioning this thing, brand voice, brand voice, brand voice. What is your brand voice? What's the personality of your brand? When people see your brand, what's distinct to you? For me, I love prints because I decided 8 to 3XL and they're very forgiving. So to me, that's a big part of me. I'm also Jamaican, and I think a Jamaican person is very colorful and tropical, and it's a loud personality. And I try to put that persona in my clothing. So when you're going to now decide that, okay, I'm going to make my list of, sorry about that, I'm going to make my list of what is important to me. So it doesn't have to be this very long extended list. Let's come up with 10 things that are important to you. What colors are important? What has caused you to reach this point, right? What is your logo? What does the logo say about you? So you want to just have key elements, and as you grow, some of those elements probably won't work, and you'll have to pull them out and push them back in with new things. But don't belabor starting the process. You need to start it now. Some of us we have business accounts and personal accounts. Now, no matter what, when you're communicating, you want to make sure you're communicating in the right manner. So it might be okay to, on your personal account, tell me what you ate, where you went, your thoughts on certain topics and things, but on your business account, it's not appropriate. So as you create your brand voice, you want to know, what is my persona? So even when you speak to somebody from my store or on my Instagram, they have a certain brand voice. So to me, Tamia Carey is this woman who's 35 years old, who probably just had children or is looking and in the corporate world. So when I communicate with my customers, I communicate in that manner. So you want to make sure that you're communicating effectively and you're not over communicating things that really have no business in your in the business space. So I strongly suggest always having business accounts versus personal accounts. We're going to do an exercise about Googling me. Now, years ago, my business partner Fern told me not to start my clothing company with the name Posh. Wasn't listening to her, whatever, went 4 years in, put in a lot of money. And when I was ready to register Posh, they said I couldn't because there were 4 companies with that name. So you want to take your time now to really go on Google, put in your company name, and make sure that if you do grow, you can buy the website, you can buy the Instagram, you can buy the Facebook. But don't waste time building your brand before researching your brand name. It's very, very important, because I couldn't even buy Posh internationally because somebody had it, of course. So nothing, yes, I had this name Posh, but I could not own anything in the digital space to go with it. So the only thing I could really own is whenever there's an article published on me, or if the, hold on, let's just go over so you guys can see it. Okay, so when you put in my name, this is what comes up. And it's what, praise God, my website comes up first. Sometimes people buy other people's names, and when you put in their name instead, they're put in that name, like I put in my name, but my competitor comes up, because some people do that. But I have my website, my Facebook page, articles that are written about me. So be very careful when you're putting out stuff on the internet as well, because when people Google you, this is what they're going to see. They're going to see your brand, they're going to see what you put out. So when you're stepping out into the digital space, especially for your business and hashtags, all these things, make sure you can own the space. Make sure that you're able to say, okay, I have the Instagram, I have the Facebook, because when you're marketing now, can you imagine having Posh as a store name, but then I have to jump back into Tamia Carey now for the website, and then probably Tamia for the Facebook. So you're sending people all over the place instead of communicating one strong message, which should have been the Tamia Carey from the get-go. So I wasted 4 years of money, and I'm here and able to tell you guys about it. So I hope you learn from it and listen to other people sometimes. And now, when you later today go and Google the name of your company and see that you can own all the spaces. Very important. So now I was just speaking to you about your digital footprint. You need to know what's going to be unique about it. What is it about you? What is it about your actions that are going to have people endear to your brand, love your brand, keep coming back and wanting to identify and be a part of it? No, we're not the same person at 20 that we are at 30. So please remember that your brand needs to keep evolving. So you can't decide that, okay, this was me when I started, but this is now me, the same me 5 years later. No. So you have to put some effort, that 3 hours a week, very important, plus your photo shoot day, and put that into your content creation and defining you. So it's not just sewing the clothes, designing the clothes, getting them to the store, dealing with the customer. You really need to also deal with your brand, with your brand presence. All right, so I want you to look at some strong brands that have been around for years. So everybody knows Donna Karan. That's how she came out. And then after having her child and coming with she had a different inspiration and stuff, and she came out with DKNY, which is supposed to be the younger brand. When we go over to her website, you see that she's merged the two. So at the top up here, you notice she has Donna Karen, which is a parent company regardless, and she has a younger brand, which is DKNY over here. But when you look on how she presents her brand, it's very clean, it's very mod, it's very New York, and that is what her brand is. So it's very important that your brand voice speaks to exactly who you are. She's branched out into different things. She has accessories, she has fragrance, all sorts of things that she has branched into, but she stays true to what her brand voice was, which really her brand voice was that she was into clean lines and comfortable clothing that could be bought and you can just walk out into it in New York and be comfortable. And she's really stayed true to that form. She's branched into bedding, other stuff, but she's only been able to branch into these many things because people have appreciated her brand voice and what she stands for. So it's very important to endear people from the get-go. Okay, Ralph Lauren. Let me minimize right here. Move it. So where is? Okay, so Ralph Lauren he's all about a lifestyle. He says what? 1 minute. I need to read. So sorry, our internet's giving a little bit of an issue. Yeah, so he's a global leader of over 50 years and he's very into the fullness of life. And he's also into the whole experience of it. We're going to look on his website as well. Right, so now this is really, before we X this out, so on this on your website is amazing because now you're able to keep the data entry. So the person has to put in their email and they have to sign up for your web stuff to get it. So now you're creating another method to communicate with your group. So here now you see where he has many lines. He has men, women, baby, kids, home, polo shirts. And he has really expanded out, but his overall image. So his overall image, let's go into his polo shirts. So a big seller for him is a polo shirt, which is actually a very bright thing to do because that is an item that a lot of people wear. So it's not closing you into a space where you have this big, beautiful dress that probably 6 of us would wear. So this is how he was able to make his bread and butter on these staple items, the staple item of a polo shirt, which is very, very important sometimes, where sometimes you go off track and you create all these different things. But if you think about your consumer and you create now for purchasing instead of what you like, you can use that as your backbone to get more money. So that's what he did. So he came up with very staple items to begin, and then he advanced throughout the world with other items, and then he went into all age groups. So that's very important to always look on what other brands have done, research them, look at what their mistakes were so you can make a better development. Donatella Versace. So she's the brand. When she became very popular is when her brother was murdered, unfortunately, in South Beach. And the brand was already large before that, but after that, it just magnified. And their brand is very luxurious. They spend a lot of money on video and photography elements and creating that mood. So if you notice the lighting that's on their video, it's like a very vintage lighting. It's not bright and harsh and thing. It's very, and it's all these little glimpses and pieces of what their lifestyle should be, She also on her page has this thing about the world of Versace, where you can go in now and you can see different elements of her life and how she has gone that way. Again, the beautiful pop-up. Join us, put in your email. Very important when you're building out your websites, ask them for a pop-up, because afterwards you can always email these people. Because can you imagine, God forbid, social media goes down and you lose these people that you've invested that money in. But they'll always have you'll always have email, you know. So now we're going to look at who is your content targeting. So when everyone looks on this very sexy commercial, we know that Sports Illustrated, one, I think, is really going towards the man, right? And how they do it each year is that they have these different women come out and they're very on brand every year. This is their big thing, their swimsuit edition. Now, when you're doing your brand, make sure that what you're selling and how you're marketing it is to the environment and the people you want. So you can't have it mismatched. So it's very good that you defined who your target is. Who is my target? Who am I selling to? What would they like to see? When would they like to see it? Is this appropriate? So you want to look at all these key selling points when you're doing your thing. So you can't be, sometimes if you're catering to maybe a mother or a family, you know that this photo would not be it. This would not get you the clicks or your sales. So you want to make sure that whoever your brand is, you look on their behavioral habits, their spend, their gender, and you make sure that what you're putting out really appeals to them. This is another great brand, Forever 21. They have very cheap clothes. They put out new clothes every day. And they use, we're going to go to their Instagram. They allow their customers to make all of their content. So they rarely do photo shoots for their social media use. What they do is repost all of these people who buy their clothes, who tag them, hashtag Forever 21. And this really helps you as an individual because now these people are working as influencers because these people enjoy wearing the Forever 21 clothes. They make it look effortless and they allow you to have more time to do other things because they create content. So you want to also make sure that you're making that hashtag that you can find when these people post your stuff. Also, you want to make sure that you're making the right relationships, that when you give people your clothing, they can wear it out. So you don't have to be like me who wears the clothes 5 days a week and hopes to take a picture. You can rely on your customers to help give you some of your content. This ad I saw this week, and I thought it was very important to textile designers because it speaks to the fact that they're coming out with this new textile that is, it fights against viruses and all these things. So this is to show you how this textile designer is on point during the COVID. So they see that their sales are possibly down and people aren't producing as they would, as people hold back money. Some people have lost jobs, but now they're coming out with something for that that hypochondriac, that health person. Now you have fabrics that can be made to make these clothing. So I thought that was pretty neat that they came out with this new brand. And what is even smarter is they've come out with the jeans. The average household, the average person owns at least 2 pairs of jeans. So that's like a massive, massive breakthrough for them from a marketing perspective. And I thought it was really important that I share that with you guys. So you guys think about, how am I going to be on point? How am I going to make sure that I have what is for now? So I'm not going to be producing leather clothes knowing that I'm going to sell them in the Caribbean. If I use the leather, it's small pieces, it's hints. How do I create for my market? So you guys want to always be thinking 360. What do they need now? How do they know it? How am I going to be different? Okay, so experiential marketing. Now, when you look on Amazon and all these sites, you notice that you're able to put how many stars on it. You're able to say, okay, well, I thought it was worth this or that. People want an experience, they want a voice. So constantly creating all of these photo shoots and stuff is not the way of the next generation. They want an experience. If you go to a lot of the carnival parties and stuff, I notice they always have like a step and repeat area where you can sit on something similar to this. And we think, what a nice experience. We back out our smartphone, we jump in that swing and we're there taking photographs. And now it allows them to promote their party, as well as you're having a great experience where you have this beautiful setting and you've taken this photo. So now you need to go home and you need to say, okay, well, you're probably already home, but you need to now say, okay, how am I going to make my experience better? It could be something simple, you know, maybe when you're having your pop-up, you have a set type of music. Maybe you give out little treats, goodie bags, but what about your experience is going to make them remember you, want to come back, personalize it. You know, it's not just putting up your ad, I have this to buy, I have this to buy. They don't want that forced marketing anymore. They want people, influencers, to show them. you know, what they thought and why they invested in your brand or why they wear your brand, you know. So this fashion house in Dubai, when they were having their big launch, they went and had these treats made, which are beautiful, and in their fabric prints, you know. So there are different ways to create experiences. This one, I guess, is from the taste buds, but it definitely gets that point across, and it's a out of the box thing to do. Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is a huge brand, more money than all of us, but the reality is the Coke logo and stuff is very fashionable, and it has become fashionable, I think, because it's very retro and vintage. So they had a pop-up shop where you could get samples of soda, as well as you could buy a lot of memorabilia from them. But again, it's about an experience. So even them using the Coke bottles now to create that divider, how they're put that suitcase there, these little elements that I don't think were very expensive, but it's thought out, and their whole positioning to you as a consumer walking up is definitely thought out. So you want to put that into your brand. Here we want to see how Michael Kors has used it in a different way. So they started this campaign, it's called Show Us Your Walk. And then they had the hashtag sidewalk spotted. And they know Michael Kors is an older brand. So they were trying to now bring in the younger generation and refresh their brand. So we're going to look at this video. Read anything. So as you see these people in a natural street setting, rocking those Michael Kors products, walking down the road, very young individuals, they're now inviting the next generation in. So now they've used influencers to show you that, and YouTubers, that, hey, the next generation is cool and they still want Michael Kors. Effortless. Selfies, of course. So you see the hashtag at the end, sidewalk spotted. So that was a big campaign for them. And a lot of people took part in it, and it kind of opened them up now to communicate, because now we can wear your clothes. We can personalize how we're presenting it using our cameras for video or photo, and you're interested. So that's really very important to not be one way. Don't just keep putting out. You want to also invite in. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, collaborations. Now, some of us don't always have a lot of budget, and it's always good that you get to know the other people in the art community. You want to extend to the photographers, to the makeup artists, to the stylists, maybe even to people who sing and dance. But you want to find influencers. You want to collaborate with people who are similar to your brand, who have similar followings that you can benefit from. So when you're thinking about doing things, think about inviting others to be a part of it with you, because the photographer is going to post on his platform to all his people and all his fans. The makeup artist will post hers as well. And that would just be, and they're going to tag you. So now from the fellowship, it allows a lot more people to see you. So always think about collaborations. Always make a list of other people up and coming with you that are in your space that you can now team up with. It could be that you do clothing, but somebody else does pots. Do that great photo out in the outside with the pots and the clothing, you know. But try and figure out how you can make bridges with people who also provide similar services as you or similar clientele, so that from the cross branding, you guys can get better sales. Here, Target has done a collaboration with this influencer. And this is also when they're trying to bring in the next generation, because the next generation isn't really going to go on the Target website all the time, be looking at what's new or even following the mail out. Instead, by her posting this beautiful photo on Instagram and thing, they're able to now initiate the next generation to know this is available at Target. I'm sure they pay this influencer for this photograph, very sure. But you guys can also have collaborations with other people in your community. Maybe it's members of parliament, maybe it's people who just really post photographs a lot or post a lot on social media, and will help you create content, will help you now be able to repost their content and create that buzz to your brand. Okay, now this is great. So Beyonce, you know, she's in Ivy Park. She is Ivy Park. She did a collaboration with Puma. And for this now, she sent out this beautiful closet that you're seeing to all her friends. This is Ellen. That beautiful note from her hand signed. Make it very personable. So she sent this closet of clothing to all these big influencers who are also her friends. And from that now, most of them did videos when they got this big orange closet. And it created a big buzz on her whole line rolling out. Hold on a minute. So all of these people for about 3 weeks just kept wearing her clothing because she had given so much clothing, and they kept tagging her, and this was how she made her grand entrance out. So it's not always about doing a big fashion show or doing your own photo shoot. Sometimes it's about giving out things, making people create content around these signature items, and then them creating the buzz for you, because now they're saying, I love to wear it. I wear it all the time. I'm comfortable in it. It's trending. So you want to think about all these things when you're doing your brand and when you're putting your brand out. More than ever though, you want to be authentic with the content and who you are. So these are two young fashion brands. To the left is Fashion Nova and to the right is Forever 21. Now they're selling to the same age group person, but they have two different brand voices. So Fashion Nova is very sexy, 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 sexy. Like if a part of the skin isn't showing, I don't know, it's not their photo. But Forever 21 is catering to the same market, but they're just a little more demure. And you find that Forever 21 also caters to an older generation and children. So they keep it on brand and they keep it in whoever is looking there, their target audience, appreciative of what they're pushing. So this is a good way to look at what is your brand pushing, who is the person who buys my brand, am I hitting that target? So you want to post on social media frequently. Don't just go missing. I know during COVID, emotionally, it was a lot and everything's just difficult, but make little snippets. Sometimes you're by your cutting table, take a little photo by your cutting table. Sometimes you're buying fabrics, take little snippets of your fabric video, but make your community part of your journey. And that will make life easier for you, because you might even put up fabric that you're seeing and they send you back and say, we love this, we don't like this. But it's about creating an experience. So you want to include your customers, you want to include your lifestyle. It's not always just having to post what you're selling, you know, make it interactive, show that you care about them, probably ask them how they're doing during the COVID, probably, you know, kind of reach out in the inbox, especially people who have inboxed you before, that you're just checking on them, but communicate. Always communicate or even over communicate, but don't go missing, because when you go missing now, they probably think you're gone out of business or just not up for it. No, a nice cool fact. Every day I spend 10 minutes on my social media platforms, liking, commenting, and sharing on my customers and other people's stuff. Why? Because this is a fun, free fact. If you spend time liking other customers' stuff, speaking to them on your page and stuff, you get free viral, you get free, it wouldn't be viral, but you get into their news feeds, which is again free. So you want to take 5 to 10 minutes each day and you want to interact, go like their comments, talk about something, post something post a question, have people respond to you on the question, you respond back to them. But every time you have that interaction, you're also getting to see their friends and you're also getting to be on their friends' platforms. So that creates this tree and web of growth for you. And it can be done on a budget because all it's taking is your time. Now, the influencers in your influencer marketing, it's nice to make good relationships on not only with popular people, but people on the rise. So you'll find that people on the rise now are actually posting a lot and they care about what they're putting out from an image standpoint. Become friends with them from now. Maybe some of them shop with you, but endear them and see if you can become a part of their journey. So your products can be a part of their journey. Pick up your phone. Oh my. So it's really important sometimes that you pick up the phone. Maybe it's that you write down birthdays when you meet these people and you create relationships, because it's so hard nowadays in the digital market when everybody's competing for space. They cannot beat you on the human approach. And again, that's really low budget and it can be very free. You make sure that 15 minutes a month, you're going to call some of your customers, you're going to show appreciation. Maybe you want to upsell them, you know, but you want to improve and build relationships at all times, because you depend on these people who have liked your item before to now like it again and maybe buy from you again. So it's very important to build relationships. You want to check your customer buying pattern. So here we have another thing. So this person owns looks like a swim shop or a beach shop. So maybe you look in your book and you see where there's a lot of umbrellas sold. And you want to go in there and say, okay, why did the umbrella sell? Maybe you want to check what your neighbor is selling their umbrella for. Maybe you want to call some of your customers and say, I noticed you brought the blue and white umbrella. Is there something great about it? Did you like it? And you want to do this because this is your market research on a dime. Then after that, you notice that rainy season is coming. So now maybe you should back the umbrella and you want to re-put this great product that seemed to have done well. Then you notice that you spoke to Miss Joe and Joe said, well, I bought the umbrella because I found that I didn't have one in my car and this and that and the other. So you said to her, do you know, I also have this plastic drinking cup that holds in the car holder. So you must also, when you're speaking to them, hold on to key elements of why they bought the product and then see how you can also upsell. But you want to ultimately take people to that next level. Communication again. So here during the COVID, you saw where Gucci reached out and they were showing unity and that they were still alive and breathing, because you know a lot of things had paused, and sometimes it's insensitive during the whole noise. No, you're going to keep posting all these photo shoots you've done and you're just really out of it because people are kind of zoning out and they're in panic. So sometimes you also have to be sensitive. Yes, you've created this great posting schedule and plans, but things change in the world. So when things change in the world, you want to kind of make sure that you're right on tone and on target. This I thought was a beautiful ad. It was really a beautiful ad, because when you're seeing that they're endorsing people being inside, being safe, you know, play inside, play for the world. I think that was a big step by such a big brand, and sometimes we really need to look on that as well. So, Joellen, is Joellen there?
Yes, I'm here, of course. I was on mute.
I don't know if I've overwhelmed everybody. I don't know, but that was pretty much.
I think it's really good because obviously you've kind of set the tone and the scene for what's really required in terms of that brand development and all of the various facets that are required in terms of being able to, you know, really develop that brand for market. And I think that's really very useful, because quite often you go out there and it can very easily be sketchy, and as much as you want to post new imagery and have different things up on your page, you know, because as you say, you want to make sure that you're showing yourself or you're showing your brand, but sometimes, you know, you just say, oh, I have to post something, anything. But sometimes I think it's good just to take that little step back to make sure that you're staying true to your brand voice and so on. I think it was one thing that I always noticed is, particularly with fashion brands, is that collection of data, having those pop-ups on your website to help build your community, because you need to know who you're selling to, who's visiting your website, and being able to capture that information so that you can continue to communicate with them, because that's what you're trying to do. You're building a community which you communicate with. And so those are the kinds of things that are really important. So I think those are some really good takeaways there in terms of brand development, and obviously looking to build that community. So as it says, let's get social, right?
Yes. Do you have any questions?
I think, no, we don't have any questions as such. I know somebody did ask earlier on whether or not there'd be recordings for these sessions. So yes, the recordings will be made available. They'll be available a few days after. We do a slight amount of editing out a few of the dead spots as such, and then they'll be shared with everybody. So yeah, they will be emailed to you automatically, or else you can visit our website, carry-export.com/videos, to see any of the recordings of previous webinars. So yeah, let's continue.
So, Joellen, what we wanted to do now is we want to know if anybody, we'd love to Google some of these people, if any of the brands would like to come forward, so we can see what their brand image is right now and see if they wanted to do a case study or something quickly. If you had one designer that you might want to target, or one person that would like to come forward.
Well, let's put that out there then. So either you can either show your hand, or you can put yourself forward if you would like us to do that. Let's have a look. Let's see a show of hands. I saw somebody just pop up. Where is Nadia Jabor. So that's Designs by Nadia. Let me see if I can unmute you, Nadia. You're self-muted. So Designs by Nadia, yeah, that's the one.
Ask Nadia if this is her stuff.
That is her stuff. Yeah, there we go.
And what country? Oh, St. Lucia. Okay. Oh, Nadia has her pop-up, Joe.
Yes,
Nadia's
indeed.
ahead of
Very
us.
good.
She has her pop-up. And that is really nice. And we get to see who Nadia is and stuff. Nadia, can I ask you a question? Who buys your stuff? Sure.
Let me see if I can get her unmute so that she can speak to you directly. Hi, Nadia.
How are you?
Nadia.
Great to have you guys.
Well.
Hi, Nadia. Who is your target consumer? Who buys your jewelry?
I have quite a wide grouping, and I've been trying to narrow it down with various pieces, but generally it's between 35 to 60, 65.
Do you have a lot of tourists buying your stuff?
I do have a lot of tourists, but still have quite a good regional market.
You have a very nice price point. Beautiful stuff. So how often do you photograph?
Not as often as I should. I just did another photo shoot, which I've been posting periodically on Instagram and Facebook, but I haven't put it into the website yet.
Okay. Do you make these all yourself?
Yes, ma'am. I design, and I have 2 people that help me, and then I call in as I need.
Fantastic. I mean, Nadia has been.
Like, your stuff is beautiful. Your photography is beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Your brand is really nicely packaged. Do you do the photography, or do you have a photographer?
This one was given, this was in a package for the We Women project that we did with Caribbean Export. So I have to give them the credit.
Yeah, we
Oh, you're
export.
current export baby.
Nadia was part of our Women Empower Through Export program. So it's really great to see how firms like Nadia have been able to leverage some of the support and develop these websites, and they're working really well for them.
How did you come up with that? Is that by your name, your logo? Is that a
The
dragonfly?
Yes. It's a simple story. When I first started in jewelry, which is just over 10 years ago, my youngest daughter went with me to buy some findings and beads and stuff. And she says, Mom, you need to put something on your jewelry. So I said, okay, whatever, just find it and put it on. And she found this dragonfly and she says, Mom, but you've always loved dragonflies. And I think this is just perfect for you. And that's how I had it. And it ended up really being a fantastic signature for me. People actually come back with jewelry if I've forgotten to put the dragonfly on and ask if I could please put it on.
Amazing.
Okay, so we also have somebody else, Kizzy Innes from CNK Crafts. So let's see if we can
spell that for me.
CNK Crafts. Let me see if I can unmute Kizzy.
Oh my. Wow, look on her brand voice. That's something, eh? Very. So she has her signature blues. You see how she grid blocks here, Joe? So she's used the signature blue to tie everything together. So her Instagram is more like a photography show, you know? So it kind of compels you to just keep rolling down. So you notice that she she tries to transition with color, and you can see a lot of thought has gone into her layout and her photography. Very nice. Are we able to speak to her as well? What country is she in?
I'm not too sure. Kizzy has
Village, New York City.
So if you can unmute yourself, Kizzy, please do. It'll be great to hear from you.
She's in New York.
Let's just double check. So yeah, unfortunately we're not able to get Kizzy on there. Kizzy is in Trinidad and Tobago, but unfortunately that's not her profile. Kizzy, can you just drop us the link to your actual page? I'm chatting with her, but I'm not able to get her unmuted.
So there are two companies with the CNK Crafts then.
I guess this is the point that you were trying to make earlier on about when you were investing into your brand, ensuring that you do the research to see if there's anybody else. So I believe she's CNK_crafts.
Crafts with a K.
CNK.
No, CNK_CRAFTS.
Yeah.
On Trinidad and Tobago. Here we go. I think that was her Facebook page there. No?
This one.
No, if you go back up. Go back up. So yeah, that one. Yeah, that was it. Go back down.
This one.
No, down
No,
one
I think
more.
this one has the hashtag made in Tobago. Made in Trinidad and Tobago.
Is this? Oh, it says at Kizzy Innes. You see?
involving us in her process and seeing how she makes these things.
All right.
Okay.
And can we look at the
So,
Instagram? No, or not?
Instagram.
At CNK_crafts, I believe. I saw it in there.
Underscore.
Here we go.
Is that it?
It's
Is
not
that
active.
it? I don't think so.
No, it doesn't look consistent. Okay, no problem. So let's have a look at, we've got Adrielle Heiliger. Her handle is at LELLE.GND.
LE. Go again.
At ELLE dot GND. Right. She says she's still developing it, but this is her Instagram presence. Let's see if we can get her on.
And that's the same thing for Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking good, feeling good. That's a very nice tagline.
So whereabouts is Elle located?
It doesn't tell us. It
Ah,
says
hi there, Elle. Can you hear us? Can you?
Hi, yes, I'm hearing you.
Oh,
a
fantastic.
flag. We need to see what country you're from.
Well, I'm
On your
originally
Instagram page.
L is something created by myself and my sister. We live in Grenada and we've learned to sew while we were in school and we've just gotten creative ever since then. So
Wow.
these are just some things that we
Very trendy.
try.
So who's your photographer? I see the flower crown shoot.
Usually I take the pictures with my phone, or if I am
Really?
going to be the model, she will take the pictures for me.
Very nice. I like that you're facing the light in this photo and using the natural light and the flower crown, and you've really done very well here. What type of phone do you have?
iPhone 10s Max.
And I guess this really shows what is possible using
This one
that
was
phone.
done by an actual photographer. His name is Andrew Johnson. This one was done by a photographer. He's tagged in the picture.
You collaborated with a photographer for this.
Yes, we collaborated
What
with
a
the
makeup
photographer
artist.
as well as the model. So the model and the photographer, we joined in with them.
Congratulations on a very nice collab.
Thank you.
Very, very nice. And I
Thank
think it's
you.
great that you're using it. So these pink ones were done with your phone as well?
Yes, yes. This was for St. Patrick's Day. Yes.
Oh, so wow, that's nice. That's a point I didn't make. It's also trying to be sensitive, sensitive to what holiday is coming up. Sometimes it can be a big thing. Like Mother's Day in Jamaica is a humongous thing. So it's making sure 2 weeks before you roll out your plan and you're top of the mind to these people. Is St. Patrick's Day a big thing in Grenada?
It actually isn't, but a lot of restaurants and promotional companies are kind of coming on board because
Very nice.
based on the holiday, people like to take advantage and probably promote a little more during that time.
Well, from the Caribbean, I'm really proud of you. I think your stuff are beautiful.
Thank
And
you.
I think it's very nice that you're showing, you're able to show us that, yes, on a dime with your camera phone, it's possible, you know?
Yes, yes.
You
Thank
seem to
you.
collab a lot because I noticed all of your photos have multiple people that forward.
Well, my sister does makeup and she dabbles a little with hair as well. So we just tag ourselves. We had some different
That's fine.
Instagrams for like makeup, but what happened, we realized we didn't want to spread out the following, so we decided to do everything under the main Instagram page. So we just decided to use the highlights to separate whatever content we'd
I
like
like
to
these
highlight.
pillars you have at the top. The pillars at the top
Yeah,
are very nice. Where you
yeah.
have
So
the
that's to
climb
separate the
cam.
content. Yeah, because
Yes,
we do
very
more
nice that
than
you
just
have the.
those.
So if I call you about makeup, you can just send me to the Instagram page and tell me to go to this pillar. And I just
Right.
press it and I
Yeah.
get to see all the makeup.
Yes.
Very,
Yes.
very
Yes.
nice.
Thank you.
Very, very nice. I'm very impressed with your, and I like how
Thank
you've sorted
you.
it out. So all these different companies feed off of one space.
Yes, yes. Yes, we're still in the state of like establishing ourselves because we have to actually we want to rebrand because like you mentioned earlier, which I find really hits home, is that sometimes you focus so much on the name that you like for yourself, and that's L, because my sister and myself, our names end with L, but it just so happens that it could create a confusion with L magazine. So we are in the stage of figuring out how to rebrand and all of that. So that's why we've been a bit dormant for a while, but we would like to come back, with something more unique.
You know,
Just so yeah.
when I tried to get Tamia Carey on Instagram and Facebook for the store, I realized there was another lady with the name
Mhm.
and some other stuff. So that's how for the store. And I don't know, there was some glitch why we couldn't get it on face. There were these glitches. So then we put the word the in front.
Mhm.
Just
Okay. And it
just
made
to
all
get
the
the time
difference.
share face because it would have been the second time because remember we went nose diving with Posh and making that investment and we couldn't own the space. So
Right.
now we're just like, we can't leave Tamia Carey now to come start over. So we just put the word the in front. So think about that as well. What could you have as a suffix or prefix? Or how could we
Yes.
sometimes, resuscitate anything,
Yes. Yes.
about
That's
that
some good
crew.
advice. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
really, really
Thank
nice
you.
page.
Thank you so much.
All right. Um,
Thanks. All right.
so Tamia, do we have time do you want to look at any more, one more before we move on?
Sure, I know they may not have. I have quite a bit of time today.
Okay. Well, we have Craft the Spice is the Facebook page for Rihanna Warren. So it's Craft DE Spice. That would be it from
All
Grenada.
right. She's a makeup artist. This is her. This is St. Patrick's Grenada. You think this?
Yeah, let's see if I can get her on.
I love these outdoor photos, because when I photograph outdoor, that's when I get the best click-through rates. When I do the in-studio shoots, they're great. But I remember shooting my clothes by this Rastaman's shack up in the hills one day, and that was my most successful sales for a period. Very nice. So
we see how obviously, Craft the Spice, that's from Grenada. We know that Grenada is known as the Spice Isle. So it's interesting to see how people can also use their name to, really pick out their provenance, where they're from as well, and capitalize upon that, location indicator and so on.
right.
Let's see. Rihanna, if you're able to unmute yourself, if you'd like to speak to us, fantastic. Hi, Rihanna.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me properly?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Where have you reached on your journey now? I see that you have masks. I see that you do makeup. You want to tell us about all what you offer?
Okay, so initially when the company got started, we started off offering a variety of different services. It is run by myself and my partner, Franz, and we basically offer services to produce custom garments for special occasion, professional wear, shoe customization, and makeup artistry services. And right now we're in the process of rebranding, and we want to focus on the stuff that's been our best sellers. We want to focus on that and master those areas. So we're going to be rebranding to offer um, special occasion garments specifically for weddings, custom tailored suits, makeup artistry services, professional wear, and outfitting services. And we want to give our clients the luxurious experience of having a personal stylist while they prepare for events.
Very nice. A big market for me here in Jamaica is that special occasion dress because we're
Mhm.
competing with the internet where everybody can pack and ship something under X amount with no duty, and it's kind of
Yes.
challenging. But I find that the special occasion space is a very
Mhm.
nice space to be in, and the margins can be better than trying to compete for lower end clothing that you're competing with China or with a
Yes.
Target or Forever 21. So I think that's
Yes.
pretty amazing that you're doing that. That wedding gown, did you sew that wedding gown or you
So
did the
this wedding
makeup?
was actually, I did the makeup, and my boyfriend actually altered the dress. So this was a dress that she purchased, and it was 4 sizes too big, and he had to alter it to fit. So if you look through the album, you would see an album named Wedded Bliss, and that album contains dresses that he would have made from scratch. There's also another album with suits that he would have done for weddings as well.
So I feel like you said trying to streamline your space and where you're going to be. So your
Yeah.
collaboration is with your boyfriend, you said, Franz? Is it your boyfriend or
Yes.
your business partner? So,
Yes.
and then you have decided that, so in your brand voice, you're picking up the bridal space. So you're dealing with
Right.
mother of the bride, special occasion, the gown, and the suiting,
Mm-hmm.
correct?
Bridesmaids as
That's
well. Yes. Bridesmaids and
bridesmaids.
groomsmen.
That's really nice. That's really amazing that you've defined your space. How many years have you been in business?
We started off in 2016, where we mostly produced garments from recyclable or unconventional materials for fashion shows and pageants. But since then, we've transitioned to producing garments with fabric. And with this year, it's going to be 4 years in business. And we're both self taught.
Really? Your YouTube
Yes.
baby? Like my business partner is also
I
self-taught.
wouldn't say I am a YouTube baby. He is not, because actually his very first garment, it was molded onto my body, and it was for a pageant. And I think that was the defining moment where people recognized that, oh, this is something different. And he also discovered that he had a talent in that area, because initially he was a barber who produced furniture on the side. And to just come up and produce a whole dress made from newspapers, that was something really interesting, and it really got the buzz going. So that's how we got started.
Well, congratulations on your journey.
Thank you.
Sorry, I muted myself there. Okay, great. So we can still see a few more if you're ready. If you would like to do, if we have time to do any more. I think maybe it'll be good just to kind of reiterate some of the key points in terms of building that community online and how
So
how to go through that. Say
when we
that again.
Googled her, what was nice is that when we Googled her, she really owned the space. Everything there was her. So we weren't confusing her with any other brand. We weren't mixing her up. Once you put her name in, you're able to find everything that's really to her brand, which I think is very nice. And I think that's very admirable that on her journey, she's been able to keep it consistent with name and define her space. So she has defined her space, because if you went down in her Facebook and you see cocktail dress, this dress, that dress, but no, she's really, after speaking to her, defined where she belongs. So I think this year should be a good year, Joe, for her to make her brand voice known and write it out.
Fantastic. Okay, so we can do, should we just do one more then?
Sure, no problem.
One more, which is at Ngozi SVG, and I'll spell that for you. This is the brand that's owned by Ikesha Del Spesh. I apologize if I've butchered your name there, Ikesha, but the handle is at NGOZI.
MGO, M or N?
N for November.
N, yes.
Yeah, G O Z I S V G. All one word, no space, but yeah. Ngozi, I do believe that's a Nigerian name. I have a good friend called Ngozi. So let me see if I can get
Instagram.
on. Ikesha, if you'd like to unmute yourself so you could speak to Tamia and speak to Rasul directly.
What country is she in?
Well, I'm gonna make the assumption
Hi.
St. Vincent and Grenadines. Hi.
Hi. Thanks for having me. I'm from St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
No flag? Boy, I don't understand you people. You need to put up your flag.
Sorry?
You need to put up that flag.
Oh, I think
So are
it's
you,
not in the bio. Oh, yeah. I need to put the flag in the bio. Yeah.
let's see what you offer. Tell us about your brand now. How old is your brand?
My brand is 3 years old.
Wow.
I,
Are you sewing your stuff?
yes, I am. I'm a sole proprietor. I do everything on my own. I like target, stylish woman.
You have a storefront?
I have a
Is
storefront
this your
at the
store in the
Kingston.
background?
Yes, it is. At the
I love an all-white store. Very nice. Because it makes the clothing pop. My store is all white too, because then my clothes are so beautiful and loud that you want them to be the subject.
Yeah. I mainly work
Have you
with
been-
African prints, unique African prints, or any other prints that is, unique and stand out. That's me there in the photo.
Very nice. Did you go to a school to learn or did you teach yourself?
I would have done a lot of short courses. I would have done a fashion design course here in St. Vincent, and I would have been to many sewing courses as well.
Do you find that with the African print, like for me with the African print, sometimes I put flex materials in the side and stuff because, but I'm catering to a bigger person, sizes 8 to 3XL. How do you maneuver that in that to get out and sold? You do set sizes and store.
You breaking up a lot. I didn't hear you. You hearing me? Oh.
I believe the internet.
What sizes do you cater to at your store?
Oh, I do size small, medium, extra large. If I do custom orders as well, if somebody extra large, I make for them as well.
You do custom as well. Okay.
You're breaking up, so I
Are
might
these all
not hear
camera
all the
photos?
questions. Some of them are from my phone and some of them are
These
from
camera
professional.
photos?
Some of them are from my camera phone. That one is from a professional photographer. Well, yeah. But I may not hear you
You said you're
sometimes.
only 3 years in?
Yes.
You've reached a
Oh
far
my,
way for
breaking
3
up.
years. When I was 3 years boy, I thought when I look back now, my stuff was not like this. My stuff was quite ugly. But these are really beautiful. You're really.
Well, thank you. What happened first? I was focusing. What happened to me, right? I started off with doing clothing, but I wasn't comfortable because I was in the learning stage at that time. I wasn't comfortable making for people, so I basically drawn to now sewing handbags, and I spent a lot of time sewing handbags, all types of bags, ranging from boho to weekender bags. And I think that is what disciplined me or give me the practice to to sew clothing. I can make anything that I put my hand to in terms of clothing wise and bag wise.
Okay. How do you have how does somebody off of a cruise ship or a tourist find you? What is it about you that how can I find you? Do you have a
in
hashtag made in Grenada designer? Are you
oh,
using anything
oh,
to find you?
my main hashtag is Ngazi Fit or Ngazi SVG, because due to that Ngazi is such of a popular name, Nigerian name now, and I find a lot of persons start to giving the child that name. It's actually my daughter's name. So I would use Ngazi SVG as my main hashtag.
Well, you need to find a way that the tourists are going to find you. So you need to find hashtags that when I'm stepping off of the boat, I can look up and
Mhm.
find your designs. You know,
Yes,
like I
yes.
know some of the
I
Jamaican
yes.
designers put made in Jamaica,
Mhm.
Jamaican
Oh, right,
designer, like
right.
that. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I still have a long way to go in terms of developing my brand. And
I think you're very far along,
thanks
Lee.
for that.
Very far
Sorry?
along. I think you're very far along and you're doing very well for 3 years.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. I think it's great to see that there are so many different designers. Obviously, I've also met some new designers today, which is great because obviously, as you know, we do have the Caribbean Fashion Showroom as our online space. So if you are a designer and you're really looking to get more visibility as well, then please do reach out to us because it will be great to feature some of the great good brands from the Caribbean on that page. And also, if you don't already follow us at Caribbean Export or the Caribbean Fashion Showroom, please do, because there are a number of opportunities to help support you, not only from these webinars that we're doing, we also have a grant program coming up, because we appreciate that, obviously finances clearly, a key
Yes.
factor for your success as well. So please do follow us and see what those opportunities are and leverage as much as you can. From Caribbean Export and from the other institutions and organisations across the region that are out there to support designers. I think we've kind of just come up to running out of time now, so I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you ever so much, Tamia. It's been a great pleasure to have you once again with us today. I'm just going to quickly flip back. Bear with me a second. Yeah. And show my screen. Yeah, so it's been a great pleasure to have you here once again with us. We have, where am I? There we go. Where was I? Yeah, I think we've learned quite a
Don't put me
lot.
in the big box.
We've learned quite a lot today. I think, as I say, when it comes to building your community online, as you quite rightly mentioned, making sure that you're easy to find online, using the right hashtags and handles, being true to your brand and developing that brand story across everything that you're doing, across those different platforms, and actually communicating. I think one of the things that we can always focus on the numbers and having as many followers, but sometimes it's also important to actually engage with those comments and queries that may well come through on your social media pages. So next week we've got 2 more sessions. We've got Selling on Social on Tuesday at 2 o'clock, and then on the Thursday we'll have how to be export ready. As you know, we're an export development agency, so we really want to ensure that you guys you know, can put your best foot forward as it relates to exporting. So thank you ever so much once again. I know I can see a query coming from Susan Maines, and maybe that's something that we can discuss when we're talking about being export ready, and also maybe possibly even for next week when we're talking about selling online, when we'll have Ain Earl with us as well, to see, you know, what are the different avenues for us to really be able to capitalize on that online space and make those sales. So once again, thank you ever so much for your time. Really appreciate it, and see you next week on Tuesday. Thank you. And please do fill out the comments, your feedback after this session, and the recording will also be available for you shortly. All right.